Hi everybody, it's Lori. How you doing? Welcome to GLP-1 Journey and Review Live. We're going to talk about several things today. First of all, I hope you all are having a good weekend. I know I've been really busy. Hopefully you guys are busy, but don't forget to take some time for yourself and don't forget to have a good time. How's everybody's GLP-1 journey going? I actually lost a pound this week, but I wasn't feeling too great yesterday. I don't think it had anything to do with the medication. Yeah, once in a while you have that, and I was able to function fine, but just didn't feel too great, so I didn't really feel like eating. And it was my shot day, and I didn't want to force myself to eat. But another day today. I'm feeling a lot better, just a little tired. So let's get on with it. Uh, is everybody getting their medication okay? I know I must be the luckiest person in the world because still using Join Mochi, and I ordered somewhere around March 2nd or so, and within 8 days received my medication. Then on the 17th ordered it again, and uh, this time I think it took like 9 days. Got it, and I ordered it again on the 1st. And Friday I got notice from FedEx that they created the label and it's going to be shipping from Red Rock. So pretty lucky with getting the medication. Now, I did have a problem because when I looked into my account, I found out each of the last 3 times they were paying me or charging me rather for a 3-month supply, and I was only getting a single vial. So I'm like, okay, let me contact them through the portal. Had no luck, so I heard people were having a hard time getting through to them. Now I work really nice and early, so at about 5:15 in the morning on Friday, I called them, and I don't think I waited more than 2 minutes to talk to customer support. They saw that they did that, and they issued 3 credits for I think it was 597, 597, and 597, and also switched me to the single month so that doesn't happen again. And then I'm like, but I've actually gotten 3 things of medication, so I guess I got those for free. I'm not going to complain. I don't know about anybody else, but I kind of find that a pretty good deal and interesting. So that's, my luck with Mochi. So far been pretty good. I thought about trying Orderly. I know a lot of people have. And from what I hear, it's very good. They're just a little bit more expensive, and they do go up in with each dosage. So, you know, but it is still cheaper than Lilly Direct, and I guess Lilly Direct would be people's last resort. Again, if you haven't really been stocking up, I may be too late. I don't know. You can try. Again, just be really careful because some of these companies that are advertising, especially on Facebook and other social medias, that they'll give you your supply. I would just check them out if they're not the top 3. Mochi, Orderly, or Join Fridays. I think Brillo's been around for a while, and there are a couple of others, but just do your homework and find out what pharmacy they are using, because although it does seem like they're going after Mochi, and part of it might be, they're going to be going after all of the pharmacies because Eli Lilly wants the monopoly. They want to charge what they want to charge. So again, if they could come down in price, I would use them. Lilly Direct. If they were, even if they were within $50 to $60 of these telehealth. Please. Sorry, my mouse isn't working, so I have to use my finger. Okay. Hi, shout out to Jack's brother. How you doing? Hope everything's good. Just started the live. Love to give you a shout out. Thank you for joining me. So Again, now as far as Mochi, yes, I wish they would have been more transparent. I do have an email that I got from them. Let's see if I can pull it up. Our latest update on prescription fulfillment. Eli Lilly has recently filed a lawsuit against Empower, one of the pharmacies that fulfill prescriptions for Mochi. We understand you have questions and concern on whether compounding can continue, despite the fact that Eli Lilly stands to benefit from monopolizing the GLP-1 supply and retaining their high prices. They do not have jurisdiction over this. We have your back. Mochi will still be able to provide affordable and reliable access to the medication, and we plan to provide transparent, real-time updates so you can feel informed and supported throughout all of this. Here's what we know. Eli Lilly has no power over the FDA regulation and how they are enforced. The lawsuit does not affect Empower's operation or its ability to fulfill orders. The lawsuit pertains to Empower's advertising claims, not the compounding practices. Lilly has previously attempted to go after compounding pharmacies and failed. Empower will continue fulfilling prescription requests they receive from Mochi. How we're responding. We're monitoring the situation closely. Our team communicates daily with Empower and other partner pharmacies. We are also working to streamline your interrogations with the systems and allow for better tracking. As reliable access to medication is our top priority, we have taken the preemptive measures. Mochi has existing relationships with multiple different pharmacies nationwide, which can route medication orders. Our team continues to find ways to improve the distribution of our order volume across the pharmacies and improve turnaround time. Right now, our number one focus is in resolving the delays caused by the sudden heavy fulfillment load we put on the existing partners. What to expect in the next few days. You may notice updates to your order status, such as change from refill sent to pharmacies to something different. This simply implies we are automatically rerouting pending orders to pharmacies that can deliver faster. Our goal is to prioritize the quickest turnaround time for you, so please know that this change is meant to speed things up, not to cause further delays. We're also in the process of launching a new and improved patient portal experience. Stay tuned. Again, we're deeply sorry to have kept you waiting for so long for your prescriptions. Thank you for your continued patience as we make these adjustments. Warmly, the Mochi Health Team. Let's see, we got some new people. Hi, Hazel. Okay. Jake B124, I don't exactly know what that means, but okay. So, Mochi's trying. Could they be more transparent? Yes. Is it a little bit upsetting that Dr. Myra basically said, oh, I don't own Empower, when in fact her husband does? I don't know. If my wife owned something and her name was on it, not mine, I'd still consider it mine. So she could have been a little more transparent about that. And, another question, why didn't they just, fix the problem rather than just shut down Akita? Who knows? I'm sorry, I think I might have mentioned Empower before. I was talking about Akita. My mistake. Fixing that now. Hi, Lily. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. We're talking about hi, Jack McCorner. Thank you all for joining us. We're talking about Mochi. Again, it does seem like they're kind of picking on Mochi, but I'm sure they're going to hit all the pharmacies and all the telehealth. Again, it's actually not against Mochi itself, because Mochi is just a telehealth company. It's about the pharmacies that they use. Shout out to Jack. Hi, Jack. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. Jack Bortner. Hi, Jack Bortner. How you doing? Let me put you up here. There we go. Partner. Sorry, a little slow. My mouse just isn't working, and I haven't really had time to fix it. So just have to use my little finger on the pad. I am drinking Circle. It's a thing for flavored water, and I literally, right before this, just finished a video reviewing it. It's got a little dial where you can dial how much taste you want to it. It's all 0 calorie. Um, Plain water probably is better, but I can only drink so much plain water, so I do add some flavoring, and I kind of like this because sometimes I feel like a lot of flavors, sometimes I don't. Hundreds of different flavors, as you'll see as the video will probably be either later this week or beginning of next week. You can get it at Walmart or drinkcircle.com. Uh, excuse me, pretty good. I like it. You know, my wife goes in spurts. Sometimes she likes it, sometimes she doesn't. My biggest complaint is that it's noisy. You can't just, sneak a sip. Yeah, let me show you. Can you get by the microphone here? So it is kind of noisy, but I mainly drink it at home. I used to drink it at work, but again, it's noisy. I do have 1 to 2 glasses of bottles of water that I put Element in because I'm really hooked on it. Plus, it helps because I do work out a lot. I try not to have more than 2 in a day. And I try to have like 1 bottle of regular water. The rest I do put some flavoring in. So that answers that. JB, you hate me. Hey, cheers out to JB. You have an opinion. Yay. But yet you're here. Now, I usually just ignore bad comments. I just, I'm tired, wasn't feeling good yesterday. Sorry. Apologize for that. Type 1 if you hate Lily. Well, if it wasn't for Lily, we wouldn't have these medications. They're just very greedy now. It's, again, they're introducing this into countries like they just introduced it to India for $200 a month. If they did that here, these compound companies or pharmacies would be pretty much out of business because that's the lowest price. That's actually Mochi is one of the lowest price ones at $199, but then you have the $79 monthly fee. So, hey, um, Lily doesn't hate Lily. Okay, who else is out here? Real JLBL. I'm gonna donate. Okay. You are a terrorist. Okay, let's try to keep it calm and let's try to keep it nice. Hey, again, I usually just kind of ignore those kind of messages, but let's try to keep it nice. So I'm going to be doing, like I told you, a video on Circle. We just did a video tasting the protein yogurts, and by we I mean me and my wife. I would have had her being the one with Circle, but like I said, sometimes she likes it, sometimes she doesn't, and I already had her in one video this week. I know she does them because she's my wife, but I don't know if she really likes them all that much. So, what else are we going to do one on? We have one coming up. We're going to do some like breakfast sandwiches and egg bites and things like that. And I know that they're processed food, but again, with his medication, nothing really is off limits. It's just, moderation is the key to everything. I know Carol and myself, we try to limit our ultra processed foods, but I'm not gonna lie, we do have some once in a while. They're handy, and there are worse choices we can make. It's just let's keep it to a minimal. I also wanted to bring up that I saw an article. Let me see if I can bring that one up from CNN. And of course, it's not where I originally had it. I saved it though. can't find it in a second, I'll just paraphrase it for you. It's pretty much that the Trump administration is stopping Biden's suggestion that Medicare and Medicaid cover GLP-1 medications, but I can't seem to find it now. They said they may bring it up at a later time. Well, if Medicare and Medicaid would, especially Medicare, would cover it, that would go across all lines of all insurances, cash prices, and everything. That would be like one of the greatest things that could happen for GLP-1 medication as far as bringing the price down. The other good thing that could happen is if they limit or get rid of the PBMs, which are the pharmacy benefit management, because they make the most money of every dollar that goes into the medications, and they would limit them or get rid of them. They're like the middleman, and lobbyists get to them. Everybody gets to them. To me, we should just totally get rid of them or limit what they could do. My opinion, everybody has one, but like I said, hopefully they'll revisit this with the Medicare, Medicaid, because that would be great. Just want to see what y'all are saying. Put this up here. Thank you, Shaquille. I think I put the wrong one up there. Again, apologize, I don't have my mouse working. There we go. Yes, everybody please hit that like button, that subscribe button, that share button. It really does help. That way we can keep this channel going. I can keep you informed. Can keep giving you some top-notch videos because, I'm not sponsored by anybody, so all the stuff that I'm buying and we're testing out so that you have informed decisions that you buy, I'm paying for. Again, I think you're worth it. I think the channel is worth it. So please help me out. Please like this live. Please like all my videos. When you get a chance, I have 150 videos up or so. I have a cooking series up there. Since I'm doing a lot of product testing, I'm not sure I'm going to consider having a separate playlist for that. I don't know how many I'm going to have. So just a consideration in the future. Anytime anybody has any suggestions of what to do, leave me a comment almost on any video. I always check my comments, put it into the chat here. I usually do a live on Sunday, and it's usually anywhere from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. I'm trying to bring guests on. I know a lot of content creators are starting to do their lives weekly. Everybody's kind of juggling around to find out what time, nobody interferes with anybody's. I'm a very small fish in the sea, so I'm not interfering with a lot of people. But I am trying to get them on the channel. I talked to the Downsize. They've kind of said, sure, we'll do one, but they're super, super busy. But hopefully in the future, in the next few months, I'll get them to actually do one. I know they have a cruise coming on. Please, everybody, go to the Downsized, and if you're not a subscriber, also subscribe to that. It's an excellent channel. Fit Flavor Fun is another good one. Allie is a really good content creator. Again, we all try to help each other. So, check out their channels. The more we know about GLP-1 medication, the better. I learn from them. Hopefully they learn a little bit from me. That's the way it is. Let me see what y'all are saying. Bye, Jack. Thank you for joining us. Lily, thank you for liking and subscribing. I really do appreciate that. Tutrul is leaving. Did you have a hard time with strength training? I had a hard time to motivate myself. Not really, because before I was on the medication, I've been going to the gym for a long time. I was actually doing it in kickboxing before the pandemic, kind of stopped obviously with the pandemic. Didn't get right, didn't get right into it after the pandemic because my wife was sick, but she's now better, thank you. And then I started going to the gym again, and like a lot of people, I was in the mindset that I could outwork a bad diet. You can't. It may help, but you can't outwork it. And again, I have a little bit kind of a weird sense of humor working in the healthcare field, but one of my thoughts were, because I was pretty heavy then, is like, oh, if I ever needed an emergency surgery, the surgeon would cut into all that fat and say, oh, this person's got some muscle under the fat, because I worked out a lot. But I ate pretty badly too. So I was kind of used to working out a lot. So that wasn't really a problem. My biggest problem is that I work a lot, and I work long days. Sometimes I try to go work out before work, but I'm at work by 5 o'clock in the morning, and a lot of times I don't get home till 7. And lately we've been so short. I've been doing this, 5 to 6 times a week. So a little tired, and that does kind of like, I only made it to the gym twice this week. I tried to make it count. Normally I get like 3 to 5 hours of exercise, and I'm probably lucky if I had 2.5 to 3 this week in my 2 workouts. My schedule next week, although I am working 6 days, I am off at 3 o'clock a couple of those days, so I should be able to at least get a workout in after work, because it's still pretty early and my wife works, so it really won't interfere too much with that. So there's the answer to that. And it's like the more you're losing and the more you're doing, the more energy you have, so you feel like doing more. I just wish there was 25, 26 hours in a day so that I could do more. Let's see what y'all are saying now. Subscribers are bots. Yeah, there's probably my subscribers aren't bots, but I think some of the people in this chat might be. I don't have any children. Well, I try to murder at least 3 a day, but no, I'm kidding. True results are motivating. That's true. If I was doing fentanyl, I'd probably be dead. Thank you, the real JB Elder. I love you too. So, we talked about Mochi. We talked about the other telehealth companies. Some other videos that I have coming out. Just some basic stuff. I am working on a video on, not mess up the pronunciation of this, carnivore diet and Glp-1. And I've read a couple of things on people doing that, and it's strictly protein and strictly animal protein, no vegetables, no fruit, which I'm sure you could lose weight with that, but how healthy is that in the long run? One of the reasons why I got interested in doing a video with that is I saw somebody doing a creator that's basically what she does. She's a younger creator, and also my cousin's son just started doing that diet, and he swears by it. And I'm going to do an interview with him because I don't really know too much about it, other than you just have your meats for like 2 meals a day. Again, no vegetables, nothing from the ground, no fruit. I don't know how healthy it is. For a short time, I think it would be okay. I'm not a doctor. Again, this is just my opinion, but I don't see how you could have a healthy diet with no vegetables or fruit or anything like that. Rice, beans, anything, or fiber. It's, but I don't know a lot about it. So, he said he'll do an interview and we'll talk about it. So, maybe we all can learn something. I think that there is something, like I know I have totally increased my proteins There are some days that, I eat a lot of protein and just have two vegetables with dinner, but like I have my fruit every single night, and I do take vitamins. I don't know. Maybe that's part of, special vitamins are part of that diet. I really don't know much about it, which is, why I'm going to be doing this. I tried carnivore for 8 months and gained 3 pounds. Need to lose 80. Yeah, like I say, I don't know too much about it. There is one creator that I just started following that is on that, and maybe I could chat with her and find out something about it. But like I said, between the video that I'm doing and interviewing my cousin's son, hopefully we can learn a little something about it. It just doesn't seem healthy, no fruit or vegetables. Again, that's just my opinion. Because this is a lifestyle change. We're going to be doing this forever, which is why I say nothing is off limits. And, because again, it's a lifestyle change. If you say, I'm never going to have a carb or I'm never going to have a piece of cheesecake, you're never going to stick to that. Cheesecake, that's just one example. Some people don't like cheesecake, but something along those lines. Just hopefully when, you do have it, you won't eat the whole piece, or, you won't do it every week, maybe just a couple times a year, whatever. Moderation, key to everything. You lost 300 pounds in a day. Okay. I lost 38 pounds in that same time frame. Yeah. Hi Val, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. I've lost the 60 pounds in a year. So that's basically a little over a pound a week. Yes, I did have a stall. Sometimes, at the beginning I lost more. Sometimes I only lost a half a week, but on average, and you don't want to lose it too fast. And, that's not good for you either. Then you start with the hair falling out, and yes, I've lost some fat pads in my face, and that comes with any weight loss, not just with the medications. So slow. Being a turtle is actually a good thing with this. And slow and steady wins the race as far as GLP-1s. And if you're losing, 3/4 of a pound, half a pound a week on average, it adds up. At the end of the year, you're talking between 30 to 50 some pounds. That's a good amount. And like I said, I'm not going to say it's easy because you still have to do the work, but it makes it definitely doable. We're not always hungry. We're not always thinking about food. The food noise is gone. So that's what I like about this medication. Sorry, I'm just reading your comments. Thank you, Val. I try to do my best. She says I inspire her. Um, Again, I was so amazed by it that I started the YouTube channel because I figured I knew nothing about the medication when I first started. When people said, "Oh, you don't have to buy name brand, you can get off brand," I'm like, oh, are people making this in the garage? I didn't know anything about it until I started taking it. And the first one worked really well, but I didn't really like the company. There were some red flags. I'm not even going to name them. The medication came warm. It was already drawn up, and by the time I reached 5 milligrams through them, they were almost the same price as name brand. I think they were like $600 a month, and I'm like, well, why would I pay $600 a month when I could get it for name brand for a little bit more? So. Uh, and also one of the people that I know through YouTube lost a lot of weight, and when she hit a certain mark, she decided she's going to start a YouTube channel. It has nothing to do with GLP-1, but hey, why not? Keep me busy, keep me young, keep me doing something. Hopefully learn something, hopefully teach other people something. And, it also keeps me accountable. It's, like, wouldn't I be embarrassed if all of a sudden I went off of it and gained all the weight back? I'm not going to do that, but, see what y'all are saying. Yeah, some of the ones they're raising prices. That's why, like I said, I am the luckiest person with Mochi. I mean, I have not had more than 10, 12 days without getting medication throughout all of this, and it's still the $199 price. Like I said, I was very glad that they credit all those 597s to my credit card, which basically means that the last three I got for free. Can't beat that. Um, and one of the things that I did like about Mochi was that all their doses were the same price, because a lot of them give you the real, including Eli Lilly, give you the real cheap price for the lower doses to you kind of get not sucked in, but until you kind of get pulled into the whole thing, and then all of a sudden, boom, the price increases. Another thing I want to remind everybody: if you are using Lilly Direct, if you do not renew your prescription within 45 days, the price goes up. So, they do that so that you can't order a 10 milligram bottle and break it up into 2 5s and have enough for 2 months, because they don't want you doing that. It's like I said, I'm getting bombarded on social media with a lot of ads. And again, if you're going to try one of them, again, you may want to think about stocking up if you can, but please vet these places and please find out what pharmacy that they use, because we don't want anything happening to you. That's the last thing I want to hear about. Also, I guess people are trying experimental grade. Risky to me. It's like the only thing that I ever tried experimental was a COVID vaccine, and I don't know. It's like, I think I got placebo because I did get COVID, but who knows? That was with AstraZeneca. Um, I did try out for before them with one on with Merck, and like they were going to pay me pretty well, and I figured, all these drug companies are fairly the same as far as reputation on testing things. Never saw it come to market, so I don't think that they ever really did anything. Hopefully it didn't hurt anybody, but I went in and I forgot what my weight was, but I put it down there, and like I guess I just qualified. And then by the time I had the appointment, like I gained like 4 or 5 pounds, and they said, "Oh, well, now you don't qualify." And like I said, the funny thing is uh, now they've sent me an email that they wanted to have me in a study for a weight loss medication. I guess I don't know if they're working on it, or the place that is doing the trial for them is in charge of it, and it's another company. But now I don't qualify for that either. So it's funny how life happens like that and how things turn around. So, let's see. Failure with Mochi too, but I get emails from other telehealth, and some of them are good. They are all a little bit more money, but hey, as long as you do your homework. I've heard that some of them, especially the ones with the 1 year supply, are actually coming in a powder, and you have to mix it with sterile water, and like, that could get really complicated. And I think it would be really easy to accidentally overdose yourself with that. So again, be careful. And like I know one of Mochi's thing with Nikita is it was the same dose size for every medication, no matter what the whether you want 2.5 or 5 or 7.5. I think it was you dropped 50 units, and it didn't matter which one. That way they kept it consistent. It's not that way anymore. So please read your directions on your vials, whether you're getting them from Mochi or whether you're getting them from any place else, because we don't want you overdosing on this stuff. That could lead to some serious problems also. So I'm also going to be doing a video on intermittent fasting. A lot of talk about that. I personally don't really do intermittent fasting, but since I'm not a breakfast person, I tend to not even put my smoothie in my mouth till like 10 o'clock. And the last thing I eat is no later than like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So like I almost do that naturally. Although when I do wake up, I do put some collagen in my coffee, and that's not considered fasting. So I guess if I was going to do it, all I would really have to do is wait till like 10 o'clock before I have coffee with that in it. But, I don't know. I've had good luck without doing it and with doing it my way. So sometimes my theory is, why fix something that isn't broken? But, there are a lot of studies how that helps, and how that helps with blood sugar, and stops any keeps your insulin levels very steady, and it could be very helpful. If I'm in maintenance now, so I want to stall, but I guess if somebody is in a stall, that is something that they could try. Can't hurt trying that. Again, because one of the things I always tell people when you're in a stall is do things different. Don't always eat the same food. Don't always eat at the same time. Shake things up a little bit. Sometimes even adding a carb, or when all else fails. I've been told this on many diets, and believe me, I've tried many diets. And sometimes just go out to dinner. Don't go hog wild, but go out to dinner. If you have a little bread or something, but something different, because sometimes that's what you need to shake up and to stall. I'm sticking with Mochi as long as I can too, as long as I keep getting the medication. I've got a pretty good backup supply, so there's that too. But my brother wants to start this, so I have a feeling he's going to be asking me for some medications. We'll see what happens. My brother only needs to lose he's one of these that only needs to lose about 10 pounds and relies on the medication for something like that. Personally, I don't agree with that. I think that small amount of weight, since he's never really had a weight problem, but to each their own. For me, it's natural fasting. Eat around 11 or 12, and you're done by 6 or 7. I wish I could be done by 6 or 7, but I don't get home from work till like 7:15, and then I have to, I have something very quick for dinner. My philosophy on dinner is try to have it in 10 to 15 minutes, cooked, healthy, because in the olden days when I would say, let's just, carry something in, by the time you get in the car and get over to McDonald's, Burger King, whatever it is, order it, bring it home. That time has passed, so why not have something healthy? And if you're interested, I have in my cooking series playlist plenty of stuff you could do, a lot of fish recipes, and we have added some other stuff. Please don't swear and be respectful. Thank you for saying that. I agree. Again, that mental ignore button is always a good thing. I've used that plenty of times. I apologize that I actually reacted to some of these earlier, because I usually don't. I was actually just watching Allie from Fit Flavor Life, and she actually does roast for people that leave bad comments, but I'm not going to go that far. So I guess that kind of kicked off something in me. So yeah, let's all try to be respectful. Everybody has different opinions, and that's great. I don't expect everybody to have the same opinion as me. If you have a different opinion, please put it in there, because life would be very boring if we all had the same opinion on everything and we all agreed on everything. It'd be pretty boring. So I kind of respect that people with other opinions do say something, but let's just keep it clean and a little bit respectful. If I see it again, anytime, I will block them. But again, like I said, I kind of hit that mental ignore button. I'm trying to think what else do I have coming out. So we have the product tasting protein yogurts. And it's funny because I was actually going to put it out yesterday and I saw the downsides put there, so I'll wait a week or so just because I don't want to bombard people with the same stuff. Although our videos are very different and I have a lot to learn from them. So a lot of respect for Lorraine and Christopher. So circle coming up. We're going to be doing some breakfasts. Again, I'm not a breakfast person, so we're going to have our breakfast for dinner, which we do every once in a while. I think my wife calls it upside down day, where you have breakfast for dinner. I don't know what other people call it. When I met her, that was the first time I heard of that. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but it was the first time I heard of that. Who's out here? Yeah, a few people out here now. Hopefully, more people are going to watch it because I get a lot of views after the fact. So, you know, that's when most of the people watch it. I don't know if this is a bad time. Maybe I'll start experimenting with this. Sunday is the only day that I know that I'm not working because none of our departments have CAT scan open on Sunday. All the places that I work. So I try to have Sunday my YouTube day, which is why I tend to do lives then. I am a little bit later going to a cool sculpting place and going to do a little interview and tour there. Does it help? I think it does. The biggest problem with cool sculpting is you have a treatment and it's not like you see results right away. It takes anywhere from 6 weeks to 2 months to see the result of that session. So it kind of makes it a little bit hard to judge. They also do have some skin tightening stuff that they do. They do have red light there. The professional red light, not the ones that you get like on Amazon. I'm a firm believer in red light. I think for nothing else, it's good for your skin. I realize that once you lose it, a lot of it is water weight and it'll come back, but consistency is the key. They say if you do it 3 to 4 times a week, that actually does work. Another thing that I was going to look into are, I forgot the name of it now, but it's the little table, little things you step on that shake. Do I think that you could actually lose weight from that? Not like they say. They say just keeping your balance uses a lot of muscle. I don't know about that. I do think it's good for inflammation. It's especially good after a workout because it helps your lymph system to move. And like your urinary system flows naturally, your blood vessels flow naturally, but your lymph system is very, very slow. And I think that those plates could help you. Now, if you're doing exercises on them, I think it can be a little bit more beneficial to the exercise. But, I know when I was growing up, they used to have these little belt things that shake, that kind of had the same principle. I don't think that they work. But like I said, I think it does help with the circulation and it does help with getting your lymph system going, which is good for getting rid of some fat. But it's got to have the liquid fat for you to get rid. It doesn't get rid of it on its own. It's like if you're dieting and you're burning fat, it helps to get it out of your body. And like being in imaging years and years ago, I know how slow the lymphatic system is because when we used to do tests, and this is like really prehistoric because like you can't see the lymph vessels and so forth. So we literally had to inject blue dye between the feet, between the toes, that was picked up by the lymph vessels, and they were like a thick thread, and we had to like put a needle into this and inject this oil that uh, shows up on X-rays so that you can tell if there's problems with the lymph vessels. But anyhow, getting back to the main thing is that we took pictures after it, and we took pictures 24 hours, and we took another picture 72 hours. And some people actually had to come back a week later for this to totally, like get to their neck and under their arms and so forth. So that's how slow your lymph vessels can move. So, anything to help speed it up. I know when I was kickboxing and doing other exercise, they used to recommend, beating by your kidneys to help move it. Get a little carried away with that. Let's see. I've also tried hyperbaric chamber. Did it actually help with weight loss? Probably not, but boy, I had an O2 buzz for like the next day because it's pure oxygen, and they say it's good for inflammation, which if you have inflammation, it's going to impede in more weight loss. I've also done cryotherapy, the same type of thing, and they say having your body minus 222 for 3 minutes, just warming it back up burns calories. How much? Don't know. Did it really help? Yeah, it was included with the package that I got, so I did it. It did make me feel a lot better. It did take away the inflammation. It's like I went in really tired from working, did that, and then went into red lights, and I felt like I was on vacation for like 2 weeks. So, it does help. Whether it helps with weight loss, who knows? I'm also going to be doing a video. It's actually charging. I was going to show you my Oura ring, but it's charging. I have the watch. I have the Fitbit, and I'm comparing them. I was planning on doing that this week, but I had an older Fitbit, and I was kind of talking about that, and actually got an email from Fitbit saying that, hey, if I'm going to be comparing it, I should use a little bit newer model. So I did. So I had to kind of restart everything. Plus, the Oura ring just did a major update, and it now self-detects some exercises. Although it's a ring, so it's not like you can see that it's doing it on the ring. You have to actually go into the app, and as soon as you open the app, it says, we detected exercise. Was this correct? Do you want to log it? What kind of exercise was it? Did it get all of it? No, but it got some of it. My watch used to do it a lot better. It barely picks it up anymore. I haven't looked at my Fitbit app to see if that's picked it up on its own. But it's kind of funny because when I'm taking a walk, since I have it attached to GPS, it does see that. But exercise I'm kind of doing one place. So we'll see. I'm comparing all that, taking some screenshots, and I'm going to compare it. Now, I don't trust any of this information as being 100% accurate. Not at all. They say, especially with the exercise, people have said if you're going to plug in everything to the TDE, which measures how many calories you need to exist in a day, so you can find out if you're in a calorie deficit. They say not to put in the exercise because it's wrong. It's like I've had some of them that says, "Whoa, you burned up 600 calories." No, I didn't. So if I was to rely on that and eat an extra 600 calories, I'd gain weight. So what I use it for is if I have a workout that says that I burnt, even if it says that I burnt 600, which I know isn't correct, and I work out a couple of days later and maybe do it a little stronger a couple minutes later, and then next it says that I've burnt up 700 calories. Well, I know it was more than the one that I did before. Same thing with steps, and they say the Oura ring in its update is going to decrease the number of steps because it knew that it wasn't quite as accurate. But like I said, my thing is if I have 8 to 10,000 steps in a day, no matter what device, and the next day I have 12,000 or 14, I know I've increased, and that's what I use it for. See what everybody was saying. Okay, so yeah, pretty much the same comments. So anybody have any questions out there that they would like me to answer, just pop them into the chat and I will be more than happy to do that. Please make sure that I know you people here have liked and subscribed. This is for the viewers watching this on replay. Please make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help. I want to keep giving you some good content and keep some good videos for you and educate you and all that kind of stuff. So it does help. Sorry, I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I think that was my cool sculpting place calling me, probably to confirm my appointment. Just going to mute this a second. I'll just actually put them to voicemail. So, no questions, no comments, no last remarks. Okay, so let me think of any other topics I wanted to bring up. Again, hopefully Congress will do something. They had their chance with the Medicare, Medicaid, but they didn't do it. I wonder how many people in Congress are actually on a GLP-1 medication. Although they have great insurance, it pays for everything. They don't have to worry. If they had our insurance, it might be a different story. But what are you going to say about that? I'm all for lowering PBMs. They make too much money as it is. Something that just slipped my head, so I'm going to just babble on for a second until I remember that. So I'm not remembering it. See what happens as we get a little bit older and get distracted by phone calls and so forth. So I want to make sure that everybody is very careful with these medications, especially since you may be changing pharmacies. Again, make sure that you're going with a reputable pharmacy. Last resort, there is Eli Lilly Direct, but again, keep in mind every 45 days you have to order from them or they raise the prices and it'll be right back up to what it was. Everybody is different. Everybody's journey looks different. So don't compare yourself to somebody else because, if somebody says, oh, I lost, 5 pounds this week. Well, they could have had a lot more to lose or, you don't know what the circumstances are. Some medications hinder or slow down the weight loss. My wife has big problems because one, she's type 2 diabetic. And with her COPD, she can't do a lot of exercises. She is doing some chair yoga. She is trying a new Tai Chi. Again, nowhere near as, much as going to the gym and doing strength training, but, she has a condition, COPD, where she really just can't, but she's doing what she can to move, and moving is important. I can't tell people enough how important moving around is. I am thinking of doing sarcastic, imagine me being sarcastic, type of video on how to make GLP-1s not work, by breaking every rule that, there is, but I'm thinking of doing that. And again, it's very sarcastic. You have to understand us medical people have a kind of sarcastic, dry sense of humor to begin with, but again, I'd be more than happy to do any topics that you people want me to do. Leave a comment on any of the videos. I do check my comments regularly, and I'll be more than happy to accommodate any things you want me to test out. Again, I'm going to give you a tour of the cool sculpting place and let them tell me about some of their procedures. They have some that are supposed to really increase the collagen for skin tightening, uh, explain how the cool sculpting actually works. Again, my biggest thing is that it takes a while to see the results. Now, granted, I know a lot of you aren't from South Florida, if any of you are, but I'm sure you guys have cool sculpting places that are very similar by where you live. So, this will just introduce you to some of those things and, what they could be doing and if it's a possibility for you. Yes, they're a little pricey. They come out to about $200 a session. And you have to decide if that's worth it. But, I have that little apron, which has gotten a lot smaller left, in my belly that I'm trying to get rid of without having to have surgery. Has it helped? I think it's gotten smaller. My wife, thinks it's gotten a little bit smaller. I'm going to try to get my before pictures to my pictures today. Let's see if I have the guts to post them. We'll see. Uh, Again, you'd be surprised what I would do for you guys on the channel because this is all for you. It's not really, for me, although it is fun to do some of this stuff and it is a great learning experience. I'm not going to be making a living on this kind of stuff even when I do get monetized. So, you kind of have to do a little bit for the people, and that's just the way that it is. It's because we care about you. You're my GL1 peeps. So again, I want to remind everybody to please hit that like, subscribe, share this with a friend that you have if they're taking GLP-1 or just thinking about taking GLP-1 or just want some nice fish or regular recipes. Plenty of them on the channel. Hopefully, I'm testing products that you don't necessarily have to be on GLP-1 for, like the Circle. Again, regular water is better, but there are items that these breakfast stuff. It's not just for GLP-1. I know one time when we were doing Weight Watchers, my wife did a lot of them. I think now the points on Weight Watchers for these stuff are pretty high, but the way that they've changed it. But again, sometimes, at least for me, I had the breakfast for dinner, so to have the extra points if I was on Weight Watchers. I finally remembered what I was going to tell you guys, is that I'm also doing one on the apps, the shot apps and the eating apps and the tracking apps. And I know some people don't like tracking at all, but I always tell people if you're in a stall, what you think you're eating, the amount and the calories and stuff might be so different than what it actually is, that once in a while I do track a day or two of food just to make sure what I'm thinking is somewhat accurate and so forth. So plus, when I look back, I got to, hey, I don't remember eating that. We haven't had that in a long time. Let me make that again. So, there are some pluses with that. And things like that. Any other videos that I'm thinking of doing? Mention the carnivore one. That seems to be about it for this. Got to kind of get ready to do my interview at the cool sculpting place and get my treatment done. And that's pretty much it for this week. Hopefully I'll see you all next week. Hopefully you will watch some of my videos coming out. Again, any suggestions, pop them in there. Anything you want me to do, be more than happy to accommodate you. Maybe a workout video. Again, my workout is a little bit different because I'm still healing from a fractured foot. So it's like I can only do so much with aerobics. I can't do like stair climbing. They don't want me to do too much on the treadmill. So I do like elliptical and rowing. And then I do my strength training. So thank you. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. And I shall see you all next week.